Thank you for this speech. I'm delighted to wear this new gift from Sarah Vallis from her panorama, since it's a panorama speech. So the Terapixel Panorama project is focused on a Swiss national icon, the painted panorama representing the Swiss Battle of Confederation in 1476, where Confederate forces defeated the opulent Charles the Bold and the Burgundian army. It was a very bloody battle where 50% of the 20,000 Burgundian soldiers were slaughtered on the battlefield. It was painted by the German artist Louis Braun in 1893 alongside 40 members of his atelier. Its significance is as part of Swiss identity in the creation of the nation state, and our project both digitizes, restages, and augments this seminal historic image. Our research in this project also has to progress in the recognition that this is a 19th century interpretation of a 15th century event. So it is what we must do is mediate between the historical record and the artistic license and political license of the day. The Battle of Murten panorama is one of 4 major panoramas in Switzerland, including the oldest panorama in the world, which is 1814, the Thun panorama that you see at the bottom of the screen. Our panorama was commissioned by Swiss businessmen. Upon completion, it was shown in a rotunda in Zurich and Geneva for a total of 7 years. It was then abandoned with the demise of the media form and supposedly the rise of cinema as the new form of mass entertainment. So it was abandoned. It was rediscovered in the 1990s and a big conservation effort began. It took 6 years to conserve the painting. It was re-erected in a rotunda frame and floated on the Lake of Murten in a box built by Jean Nouvel for the Swiss National Expo in 2002. It was then returned to relative obscurity. In fact, it's only been on display for 6 months in the last 120 years. So we rescued it from the military storage facility where it had been languishing for 20 years. Its full length of the image is 100 meters. It's in 3 sections. Each section is 10 meters high. They weigh about a ton each, and we took it all to the laboratory. We had to do months of conservation work to start, just to assess the full integrity of the painting. We built spare rolls. We built a motorized platform to allow conservators free access to the painting. We built a motorized rink which could travel the 10-meter vertical height of each roll. And then we started to create a digital twin using this Phase 150 megapixel camera sponsored by Phase 1 generously. We stitched together 27,000 images to create a 1.6 trillion pixel image. This turns out to be the largest image ever created in the world. In fact, it's double the size of the largest image ever created, both panoramic and digital, according to Guinness Book of Records. I'd add at this juncture that if you have a big painting, of course, we have the kit to scan it, so do come to me. As you might know, an image like this is not flat. It's a hyperboloid shape. It's skinnier in the middle and longer at the ends. And so we had to write all the software to be able to stitch this image together. And the final image is staged typically in our 360-degree system at 1/3 the scale of the original panorama, fully interactive and augmented with 33 channels of sound. The super fine resolution allows participants to zoom in to more than the naked eye can see, deeply engaged in the materiality of the painting. You can see here our custom designed smell necklace, which releases 12 synthetic scents into the atmosphere developed in conjunction with Scentrealm in China and the Swiss fragrance manufacturer Firmenich. So as visitors enter the scene of this repugnant battle, they are enveloped in powerful olfactory experiences: blood, sweat, goat, horse manure, and so on. We've developed the world's first software system to be able to deliver all of this in real time. This is the smell mapping, the dynamic smell map of odors inside the system. Here you can see visitors at an early demo of this necklace when we did a little demo at GIF, capturing the scent of human perspiration in the heat of battle. Unlike the sweat of rest, it's sharper and more glandular, charged with adrenaline and the fear of combat. This visceral note evokes the raw immediacy of conflict, where the body's scent becomes an unspoken testament for survival and fervent exertion. Yuck. Similarly, a multi-layered dynamic soundscape, numerous Foley sounds, and multiple levels of zoom. We've also created a series of volumetric video sequences here with reenactment performers and objects. Here, the firing of an abacus, and then reinserted in the digital panorama at strategic points. One of the infamous scenes in this painting is the looting scene, where the fleeing Burgundians had their treasuries fleeced by the Confederate soldiers, and many of these objects are held with pride and joy in Swiss museums today. So we imaged a lot of them, and these are appearing also in this augmented panorama. Together with colleagues from Drexel University here in the US, in fashion design interpretations of historic costumes, a public-facing website with unlimited zooming and a whole series of narrated tours, a IIIF compliant scholarly platform so you can annotate and add all the scholarly sources to every single element in the painting. If you want to go there, that's the QR code for that. Quick, phones out, click. And it's touring all over the world. So it's been in Hong Kong at the Geneva Film Festival. It's currently at Museum for Gestaltung in a 12-meter long screen. For mass public engagement, it will be at the Bern Historisches Museum in Bern. In the full 360 with the smell necklace, it will be at Murten Museum, very important because it's a 550th celebration of this battle. It will be in Grandson Castle. It'll be hopefully in the Lucerne Planetarium, reformed, so this malleability of digital data to take different forms. And of course, it is here at Swissnex San Francisco in a purpose-built system which we call the Panoramic Navigator. So thank you.
So before we go explore the panorama altogether, I have a question for our three speakers because I think they have amazing and different perspective. And I would like to ask all of you, starting by Ariel, how do you think immersive media changes our relationship to time, the time of history, culture, and experience?
It's a great question. I think as a museum curator, the only thing that I hope when people come through our doors is that time slows just a little bit. We're so used to seeing images in a fraction of a second on our phones and on the computer. And if you can stay, for a minute and look at something, you will always be rewarded. I think slow looking is something that comes with reward constantly. But I also think being that I'm at the Museum of Craft and Design, there's something of an anachronism just in the idea of craft. Craft is something that's handed down ancestrally. Our first humans were making things out of clay and were spinning wool and making clothing. And all of this is this kind of at odds with a digital environment, but there's ways in which those two things commit together and can create something really lovely and beautiful. And that's something that we're constantly exploring at the Museum of Craft and Design. So yeah, time is of the essence.
Jeez. What about you, Sarah?
Well, I'm not sure if this will exactly answer the question, but one thing I think about which points to this and that I've noticed is, so if you come to one of our exhibits, on the surface it seems extremely analog. It's a painted surface. There might be a changing sound and light cycle and some three-dimensional terrain. And the shift that I've seen in the past, 25 years is that this type of like physical immersive experience has taken on a different type of preciousness now that we all spend a lot of time in disembodied tiny screen space. And so I think that this also connects to this idea of slowing down, is that to be able to separate out from something that's like quick and, distraction, it does take a moment to get in there, but once you can, take 10 minutes, like take a little bit of time, that becomes so much more precious now in a different way that I wouldn't have expected 20 years ago.
Amazing. And Sarah?
Can you repeat the question?
Of course I can. How do you think immersive media change our relationship to time?
Okay, so if we mean that immersive media is technologically enabled, in our case, I think it's the way that it amplifies elements of the past. It's certainly, this issue of time is really, really critical because it forces you to focus. These machines force you to focus. They slow you down enough. You can't walk by. You have to operate them. They're interactive and exploratory. And this is a really fundamental thing. If you also think about the way in which a traditional panorama was observed, which Sarah pointed out, you're 10 meters away from the painting, and now you're transformed into this deep materiality of both its creation and its the physicality of it. So that conjunction between this historic object and the present and the technology that allows you the tools to see it like a kind of forensic vision is the most powerful thing about these systems, I think.
Wow, thank you so much. Please join me in thanking all our speakers of tonight. Thank you so much for being here. We'll give quick guided tours on the other side, and the speakers will be here also to answer any of your questions. Thank you for coming here, and I hope to see you soon.